You used to watch her come in and out of her apartment, didn't you?
No.
You stop several times, no big deal, because she's cold. You give her a quick hug, no big deal, right? Or was it a big deal?
No big deal.
Psychopaths are cold-blooded murderers. With their sharp brain and calm demeanor, these suspects will become the hardest nut to crack in the interrogation room, even without a lawyer.
What's your observation? How do you think somebody would take her, if somebody did take her?
When she was running.
Does she normally run all the time?
She runs, I don't know how often.
You mean you think somebody might have took her when she was running like down the street somewhere?
Yes.
This is Steven McDaniel, a law student at Mercer University. He will sit in his chair for half a day only to find out what evidence the police had gathered after he realized the torso of a woman was found in a dumpster.
You cut underwear out that look like a mask?
No.
How many guns did you have in your apartment?
3.
Right after he heard the news, McDaniel walked into the interrogation room and changed the trajectory of the investigation. The details, however, are gut-wrenching to say the least.
When was the last time you think you seen Lauren?
It was either last week or the week before that.
Okay. Is there anything that you could tell me today or add to your statement that could help me locate Lauren?
I can't think of anything.
Being each other's neighbors and fellow university mates, they had little interaction. Daniel usually kept to himself, both in law school and in the neighborhood. Meanwhile, Lauren had a bright and shiny personality. Little did she know the neighbor she occasionally smiles has cameras installed inside her house.
What did he do for a living? Was he an attorney like you?
He worked for the Southern Railroad Company.
Is anybody in your family an attorney?
No.
You're the only one that went through law school?
Yes.
Well, that's an accomplishment, don't you think?
Yes.
I mean, it took a long time, right?
Yes.
A lot of studying.
Given the evidence that would be found later in the house search, Daniel's hesitation to allow officers a search is a smart move. However, Daniel's bizarre demeanor and his willingness to talk to an officer without a lawyer do not add up here. He's becoming a daredevil right now. What does he really want in this situation? Why do you think he was curious about what the police have found so far? Tell us in the comments below.
If I was asking you, did you just rob a bank? If you didn't, you'd say no, not I don't know, right?
Right.
So why do you say I don't know?
Because I don't know.
You don't know if you had anything to do with that body?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Notice Daniel's rigid posture, away from the officer and towards the table. The stillness in his body and no sign of emotion in his tone is a major indicator of what we call a deceptive person during an interrogation. Officers who follow the Reed technique confirm that a truthful person's body language will be in a way that they are facing the officer, both face and feet. If his posture was not creepy enough, Daniel would do something that indicates at him being a calculated, cold-blooded killer.
You used to watch her come in and out of her apartment, didn't you?
No.
I mean, then how were y'all friends? If me and you friends, we live next door to each other. Every time I look out when I see y'all, there's my buddy going in. Because we friends. I'm gonna pay attention to when you come in and out. Didn't you just tell me that y'all were friends?
Yes.
But you didn't pay attention to when she came in and out?
No.
Steven, you're lying. Now you're lying.
At this point, they know Daniel had been stalking Lauren and had killed her right before she was about to move from the apartment complex.
Are you a knife collector or a knife person, or
No.
you just like knives?
I used to collect swords.
I mean, do you know your swords?
Yes.
I mean, to sell and trade swords?
No.
But you just bought here and there?
Yes.
But you wouldn't consider yourself like a sword expert?
No.
Okay, because you know they have that TV show where they sell stuff, you know.
I know you're not a monster. Tell me what happened.
I don't know.
You tried to have sex with her?
No.
She didn't want to have sex with you?
I didn't do it.
She didn't want to have sex with you, Steve?
I don't know.
You don't know if she wanted to have sex with you?
I didn't do anything.
Yes, you did, Steven.
Notice how the officer has calmed himself. So far, nothing has been working on Daniel. His tone remains the same no matter if the officer is playing good or bad. Daniel continues to maintain creepy eye contact with the officer. Daniel is cleverly avoiding going into details. He is getting what he is there for: information about the murder case of Laura Giddings.
Okay, Mr. Smarty Pants.
You're just lying. That's a lie. You ever see her come in and out of her apartment?
Yes.
You did? When was the last time?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Like last week, maybe?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Steven, you understand that everything that you're saying here doesn't make any sense at all.
At this point, the officer seems helpless about the situation. Nothing seems to crack this monstrous murderer. Later, police would find shocking evidence at Daniel's home that would eventually lead to his arrest.
I don't know what it's called, the knife shop or something like that.
We're still looking for Lauren. You know any of these other girls in this picture?
I know that she goes to the law school, but I can't remember her name.
So she's studying to be an attorney too?
Yes.
Okay. Is that how Lauren looked with the long hair the last time you seen her?
The summer after graduation, Lauren attended her sister's wedding and took a few weeks off to spend time with her family before her bar exam. This is when Lauren tells her sister that she senses a strange existence in her apartment and that her things appear to be out of place on several occasions. It was when she returned that Lauren would find Daniel in her apartment as soon as she locked the door. The monster would strangle her to death and dismember her body in the bathtub using a hacksaw. He would later dump her torso near the apartment. The rest of her body would never be found.
You're not gonna win. Too much evidence. We know you killed her. We know you put her body in the trash can. Simple as that. The news media knows it. Glenda knows it, your mother. Your sister knows it. Your sister's husband knows it. The one that used to beat your sister, he knows it. You know what he said?
He said he's a crazy motherfucker is what he said.
4 years earlier, Daniel would bring up a gruesome discussion that would later prove to be horrifyingly relevant. He would ask his friends how to commit a perfect murder and would pitch in his own ideas. According to Daniel, a perfect murder is done by wearing a small shoe size, cutting his hair, and using chloroform to make the victim unconscious. Then, he would take the body to the bathroom and dismember it there because the tiles are easier to clean. Daniel further described how he would use cleaning chemicals to get rid of the dead body's smell. Finally, he would place the body in a garbage bag and hide it in his laundry, only to later dump it in different dumpsters in the area. Quick question: if you had a friend who had a well-sorted plan on how to murder, would you ignore the red flags just like Daniel's friends did? Daniel would plead guilty to killing Lauren Giddings in cold blood. He would be sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years.
I would figure my best guess is she went off with someone. I don't know. She decided, you know.
A stranger or what?
It could have been just someone she knows. Someone might have gone, you know, hey, let's go to Taco Bell or something.
This is Paul Flores talking about Kristen Smart, who was found heavily intoxicated after a party in 1996. Paul offered to help her friends who tried to carry her back to her apartment. As Paul lived nearest to Kristen, the friends agreed to hand heavily drunk Kristen over to Paul, who was supposed to carry her to her apartment. The next morning, Kristen would disappear into thin air.
You think if something bad happened to her, what do you think happened to her from that point where you last saw her?
I don't know.
Let's say, just an opinion. See, we ask everybody for their opinion because it helps us, because we sometimes look at this and we don't see the whole picture. So we ask everybody, hey, what do you think happened to her?
It is crucial to note that this interrogation happened 1 month after Kristen went missing, which is enough for the criminal to go back to their routine and live a normal life. Paul looks confident and is straightforward with his replies so far, indicating that he had enough time to ponder over what he would say to the officers if he gets stuck in this exact situation.
Why do you think somebody would want to kill her?
I don't think anyone, it's like, you don't even know, you know, it's like people, it's like, I don't know why people do drive-bys either, or anything, you know, but people do that, right.
At this point, one questions, is Paul really smart with his replies, or is the officer dumb for asking such vague questions? Several minutes into the interrogation, the officer had failed to build rapport or even instill fear in the suspect.
Around here. And I could see somebody, you know, kissing her, or you know, especially when she comes on to him, and then being afraid to say anything, because now she's missing, and that person might think, oh God, I'm a suspect. But you know, we wouldn't think that. Did something like that happen, you know, based on her being a little little loose or anything?
No.
Never kissed her or anything?
Never.
Did you want to kiss her?
No, I didn't feel, I don't remember feeling any attraction towards her, so.
Even though the officers are almost treating Paul like a dumb blonde, we can tell how he is dodging every question coming his way. 5 months before Kristen disappeared, Paul tried to enter a woman's house, was highly intoxicated, and tried to harass her. With a history like this, the police had all the right to be dominant towards him, but unfortunately, that is not how this interrogation goes.
4 or 5 people told us that they saw you trying to kiss her at the party. In fact, it was in the hallway at the party, and you were trying to kiss her. In fact, I think she fell down on the ground, and you were kind of laying down next to her, trying to kiss her or something. Can you remember what happened with that?
Never even, I don't remember doing anything like that.
But I mean, this isn't where just one person told us, several people saw this.
I don't remember even doing anything like that.
Having a bad reputation amongst girls, Paul was given a nickname, Scary Paul, would go around forcing himself on drunk women. At this point in the interrogation, Paul's answers seem straightforward and to the point because the questions asked are non-specific.
You remember anything she said to you?
No.
God, I'm drunk, or I like you, I hate you,
No.
anything like that? So you guys have no conversation?
Yeah, and the only conversation I can remember, I talked to Cheryl. I don't remember if it was on the walk or it was at the party. I don't remember. I like talked a second about the class we had together. You know, we go, oh, how'd you do or whatever. Kind of like.
Okay. And what'd she say? Fine. Or...
Yeah, she said she got like a B in it or something.
Some days later, after Kristen's disappearance, Paul was arrested for unrelated DUI charges. He had a black eye and scratch marks on his face, indicating that he was in a fight. When asked about the black eye, Paul claimed that he got it from playing basketball with friends the other day. However, his friends did not recall playing basketball with Paul in a long time, another lie in the face of the police, which they should have used against him to show dominance.
Like Investigator Hobson said earlier, and I don't want you to think that we're pinning on you as the suspect, but some of the things you're telling us aren't adding up, and I'll tell you why, I think you don't want to tell us everything because it's going to make you look like a suspect, but it's just the opposite. See, we just didn't pick your name out of a hat and say, okay, let's go talk to Paul today.
Right.
After we get all this information, now we're not looking at you as a suspect, but we're saying, okay, some of the things he told us isn't adding up. I think I know the reason why, personally. Because if you tell us everything, it's going to make you look like a suspect. And that's not the way we look at it. Well, you understand where I'm coming from? Okay?
Right.
At this point, the investigators are explaining to Paul how an interrogation takes place. With vague statements like, I don't know and I have no idea, Paul has successfully managed to get across his point that in no way he would be telling his side of the story. It is important to note that the interrogators have a bad strategy to extract a confession. They are almost begging him to give them something they can use against Paul. Paul is not as dumb as he looks to the officers.
Cheryl's got a pretty good memory.
Okay.
She wasn't drinking. And all she knows is that she was going to help get Roxy home. And she started to walk with Roxy. And then that's when you joined in.
Oh, see, I had no idea what I'm doing.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
telling
I know,
you,
I know.
I'm helping you out here.
Okay.
Work with me a little bit here. Okay?
All right.
All right. she confirms what you said, that several times Roxy stopped and complained of being cold.
Right.
She said you went over and you didn't just rub her arms, you gave her some manly hugs, like a man would, like any man would. You know, here's a woman standing there that's half naked, the way she's dressed. She's got a little tank top, a half t-shirt, skin tight, black vinyl shorts, you know, and she's half naked. It's like wearing a bathing suit. Anyway, you reach out and you give her a good manly hug, like Bill or I would do, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd walk a little more and she'd complain about being cold. You'd stop and give her a hug. Except at one point, you told Cheryl, go ahead, you can go on now.
Note that Roxy is Kristen's nickname. Cheryl was the friend who walked in front of Paul and Kristen and later went back to her home when she dropped Kristen off at her building. However, nobody knows what happened when Kristen entered her dorm building.
That's exactly my point. Do you see my point now, what I'm getting about on all this other stuff that happened? When you tell us something like that and it doesn't make sense, see how bad it looks?
Well, it doesn't matter if I leave out little details. Why does it matter who I was even with that day, though? I mean, like the Labor Day weekend or Memorial Day weekend. See, I don't even figure that out.
Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Because that's how we found out you didn't get the black eye playing basketball.
But I don't think there was any big deal. So,
So you got it on 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday.
Right.
Taken.
Well, it was actually Monday.
Monday morning.
And woke up in the morning. It's like I didn't think I hit it very hard, but then I woke up in the morning with it.
What were you doing at 2 o'clock in the morning in your car?
Notice that Paul takes the center seat in this interrogation. Usually, when a suspect lies or shows signs of deceptive behavior, the cops close in on them to invade their personal space. In this case, however, neither the cops raise their voices, nor they implement useful strategies to get out a confession.
It's like I was just like working. It's like I like the seats out. It's like I was grabbing the wires, and I remember I just like popped up. I don't remember exactly.
Which eye did you hit?
I think it was this one. It's like I don't remember. Right. Yeah, this one.
Okay. Show me how you hit it while you were pulling the wires.
I just came up and just hit it like right here, and then it wasn't actually the eye. It was just like right here.
You must have hit it pretty hard.
No, didn't even hit it very hard.
Why am I bruised so bad?
It didn't. It's the only bruise was just like a little line right here.
Yeah, it was a pretty good bruise.
No, really, wasn't. Never swelled. Never was sore.
This is where an innocent suspect would sweat in nervousness. Paul later confessed that he had hit his eye while fixing his radio at 2 o'clock in the morning. He seems pretty confident in his lies and how he explained the event that caused a black eye. Even though he has sensed that the officers do not trust him, Paul seems to be in a pretty good psychological state, which is not a very good indicator of a suspect's innocence.
What if somebody tells us that they saw you with that black eye Saturday night?
Nope.
Police dogs picked up the smell of Kristen on Paul's bed. Even though the dorm was clean, Paul couldn't avoid the inevitable that would happen to him.
You ever gone up to somebody calling at a party and forced a kiss on them?
Nope.
If we have 2 ladies that came forward and identified you and said that happened, would that be true?
No, the only person I was at one party, then I was kind of like a little aggressive, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit. You pushed her up against the wall. Shoved her up against the wall and grabbed her face and tried to kiss her. She had to fight you out.
Not there. Nuh-uh.
Paul's father would come forward as a suspect in this case, helping his son hide Kristen's body, which was never found. 2 decades and tons of investigation later, archaeologists found a soil disturbance the size of a coffin. Evidence of blood was also found, but without a positive DNA. On March 10, 2023, Paul was finally sentenced to 25 years of life in prison. Do you think Paul was innocent considering insufficient evidence in this case? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for more content on true crime.